Welcome everyone to another night review. Today we have the 2023 redesigned Genesis G90. And in this night review, we're gonna take a look at this top-end Genesis sedan, look at the exterior lights, the interior ambient lighting, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. All right, so first things first, right up front, we're gonna look at the exterior and then hop inside and take a look at everything in there. Now these headlights and this front end is just very luxurious in the way that it looks. Big, wide grille and front end. And then we've got this dual strip of LED lights, and there are multiple LED lights in there, including the LED turn signal that is integrated into every other one of those light bulbs. That looks pretty sweet. One thing to note is there's no adaptive lighting, there's no fog lights, and we'll talk about why that is kind of a bummer a little later. But take a look at these 21-inch wheels, and you've got this massive turn signal on the side, just like the previous Gen G90. I mean, if this side profile with this halcyon green doesn't just exude big luxury sedan, I don't know what does. This looks just insane. Long wheelbase, long car, and the dimensions are just crazy. And take a look at these taillights. You've got two bars that run all the way across, a pretty massive LED blinker that is a red blinker. You've got LED license plate lights here as well. So when that is off, I mean, this is a very easy to spot type of taillight design. Let me know what you think, and let's take a look at the brake lights and reverse lights down at the bottom. Now, as we take a look inside, first of all, you have flush door handles. They actually go into the vehicle, but the back seat in this car is where it really is. You've got some sweet ambient lighting all around. You've got an executive style back seat. So you've got nice plush seats. They have pillows. You've got a big touch screen. You've got a sanitizer back here, plug-ins, heated seats, massaging seats, all the controls you want. Check out the full daytime review if you want to see all the details with that. Oh yeah, and watch this. All by itself. Another thing, as you approach the vehicle, you can have it set up to where when you get close enough, these flush door handles will automatically pop out, and then the Genesis logo is going to pop out on the ground too and unfold from the mirror. This looks really nice. You've got illuminated door handles, just a nice luxurious entry, and a flash as you back away. And then when you hop inside, you've got the same thing up here, nice white interior leather with the brown steering wheel. This is some Napa leather seating, different controls in here, ambient lighting. Can't wait to show it to you. Let's hop in. All right, y'all, let's take a look at the interior of this Genesis, and it is definitely very nice in here. You can see the glow that we have going on right now. An all new interior for this G90, and it looks fantastic, and it's a great place to be at night. So first of all, over on the door, we've got real wood trim with this nice glow coming from out of here. A nice speaker system. You got a good speaker grill. Your memory settings are illuminated right here, and all your door switches and buttons, even some next to the steering wheel here too. There's even lighting back in there. There's some lighting right there for your trunk. And we've got this over 12-inch screen for this digital display right in front of us. It actually looks like a nice little night display right now too, and it changes depending on your drive mode. I go through that more in the test drive. We also have a head-up display up there too, or I go through that more in the daytime review, is what I'm saying about that. But also a 12.25-inch display over here as well. And this you can use as a touch screen, so you can touch it, or you can use a command knob, a command controller. But check out this mood curator. So if I click on that, you've got these different things that you can do. So you got vitality, delight, care, comfort. These can turn on your massage settings, ascent, turn up or move up some, like for example, your music, change your music. You can move the sunshades up, turn on your massaging function in your chair. It's a really cool feature. There's definitely a lot more going on here too. You've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It just can't be wireless right now, but it looks nice on this big screen, and the command knob works really well. There's a ton of different settings that you can do in here, and since this video is mostly about night stuff, let's go over some of that. One quick note is to adjust the interior brightness. All you gotta do is that can adjust the main display, that display, and also the brightness of some of the actual controls, like your buttons. Now in this main menu, if you go to display, one thing that is really cool from Genesis that I really appreciate is the ability to adjust not just the brightness, but also activate a blue light filter. So this is good for nighttime driving. Your phones have these settings, your TVs and computers do too, to help prevent this from creating eye strain or keeping you stimulated. So head up display, your cluster, then we get down to lights and our ambient lighting, which I'll go through in a second. Turn signal, 3 flashes for 1 touch, welcome lighting coming from your mirror, delay for your headlights when you turn it off, your high beam assist for automatic high beams. Let's check out this ambient lighting. So click on that, go to brightness. Let me zoom out here, pan out. So I'm trying to have this pretty close to the actual brightness in here on the camera. So right now it's on the top, number 10. Let's go to number 1, things dimmed down. Now the footwell lighting honestly doesn't really change. I wish that that would change more, but the actual like colored glow can change. So let's go back up to 5, partway there, up to 10, all the way up. So another thing is that you can have this set to where you can change the color, which is cool, but also you can have it dim in the dark. So for example, if it's dark and you're gonna drive, I'm gonna put it in gear, things just dimmed a little bit. So that's nice, because this is kind of a bright, overbearing light with a lot of reflections on the glass. If you have it turned up, you can also have the color linked to your drive mode. The only thing is you can't control which sections are bright. Like for example, this area down here, like right by my seat, this is actually really bright. This light is too bright compared to what I wish the rest of them could be. So I wish that there was a little bit more customization with that. Not a big deal. I still love this ambient lighting. So let me show you some of these colors. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through a few things. You've got a white, you've got like this yellowy color. You can do red, of course, is a popular one. You can do a violety, purpley color, some kind of green and blue, or you can set your own custom color and it just looks awesome in here. Other than that, we've got our climate controls down here. This is touchscreen. It looks very nice. Everything has a good layout. Even your audio controls and map and shortcut buttons like that. Cup holders down there. You've got nice glow and illuminated buttons from here. So you've got this glow in this like crystallized looking shifter, this glow around your command knob to control the display. Your shifter is interesting. So you've got illuminated buttons right here, but you only just turn this dial or push this button. And you've got a few more controls down behind that and a slot for a wireless charging mat. The one thing some of you might want is a little overhead glow, like a little light that comes from above. This doesn't have it. Everything is just so bright down here that you don't even need it. And behind the wireless charger, you've got an illuminated mat and the cord can go through to the charging area so that you can still be plugged in even if you're not using the wireless charger to store your phone. Over in the glove box, this is lockable. It's soft opening, softly lined, and nice and bright. Overhead, we've got LED lighting, so check it out. Nice and bright. You can turn everything on. Super bright. I mean, lots of light in here. It's insane how bright everything gets. It's almost overbearing with this LED light. And of course, there's a vanity light and mirror here as well. One other wicked thing is for the moonroofs. You've got 2 of them in here, first of all. They have lighting next to them too. And the back seat. So you've got it on the doors, you've got it down here at the center console, and the backseat passengers can control this too. Now looking right out overhead at the headlight beam pattern, you'll notice this doesn't have as strong of a beam pattern as many of the other luxury cars that I've driven lately. I mean, it's still nice and bright right in front of us. High beams, those are definitely good and bright, but it fades off and falls off quicker and lower than other luxury brands. And it doesn't have adaptive lighting, it doesn't have fog lights, so you're just stuck with what the headlights can do. But we'll get them out on the road in a sec. The IIHS gives these an acceptable rating, which is the second best rating. So again, they don't score as good as they really should. All right, now looking off into the distance here. So obviously this lights up right in front of us really well. The main thing I'm looking for here is how bright it is at the end of the parking lot. You can see the cutoff line down there. It fades on the driver's side per usual, a little bit on the right. High beams, those are great. I think those are going to be the saving grace for this car because it's not that bright on the width. Some of the vehicles I've seen lately illuminate on the side of the building, but this one does not. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Genesis at night. So this isn't going to be detailed about this specific test drive. It's going to be mostly about how these lights do. at night. We'll get on some dark roads, some decently lit roads, and talk about how well these lights do and what it's like to live with this Jenny at night. So first impression is that the lights seem very bright where they are, but they're a little low. We'll see how they look once we get out on the road. They don't have the best rating possible, so keep that in mind. But the ambiance in here is fantastic. I love it. I love the colors. And even though I was going just 20 something miles an hour, my headlights are in automatic mode and they just flash that person. So that's kind of a bummer. Not off to a good start. We'll see how well those do too. But this is the E-Supercharger version of the G90. So we've got a little extra power and torque, over 400. And it gets you going pretty quick. I mean, that torque starts to come out pretty quickly. We've got a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 paired with the little 48 volt supercharger. And this car is plush and comfortable. It sails over big bumps, but that's not what this test drive is about. So this side mirror is automatic dimming. This driver's mirror is automatic dimming the rear view mirror as well. So it's nice to have both of those. And just cruising along right here, 45 miles an hour with the overhead lights. The high beams have stayed off. We'll cycle through those in the test drive, or on a dark road when we can really get out there, but there's probably not too many people out here. One thing is that the turn signal mirror over here that shows up, you can see that pretty well even at nighttime. So rest assured, the lights from the vehicle actually help illuminate that. So up until this point, over the last couple minutes, the high beams have stayed off, probably because of these overhead lights. Now we have people in front of us, but when we were coming to that stoplight, they flashed off and on and off, which was kind of weird. But we're gonna get on a dark road here in a second. And now the high beams have kicked on. Those are nice and bright off into the distance. Sorry about the mist. I hope that doesn't mess up our visibility here. Let me turn those off so it's just the low beams. You can see the beam pattern. And it's not getting into that corner until now. I wish it could get a little bit further. We don't have cornering lights either, so low beams here. The cornering visibility is not as good as it should be for a $100,000 vehicle. High beams back on. I'm gonna leave the auto high beam function on now. It's foggy, so I apologize for that. But another thing, we don't have fog lights. We don't have all weather lights, anything quite like that. Okay, I'll turn the high beams off. The beam pattern just doesn't reach as far as I thought it would, but high beams are definitely very good in here, so that's a big plus. They're super bright, so bright it's hard to see with this fog. And even with the cornering, the high beams do okay with their width, unlike some. There's a vehicle in front of us. Okay, it just turned the high beams off, so we didn't necessarily flash them. So that's good to see those respond like that. Now the peripheral vision, it's not great, but it's not terrible. I can still see some out into the ditches, but it's not quite like it is on some other vehicles. You know, there's definitely better options for nighttime visibility. All right, now coming up to the little section, I like to do the sharp corners. I had to get pretty darn close in order to see this turn here, and you can't see very well. So I like to come out here where we've got a couple of sharp turns to the left and to the right to see how well we can see into each way. I can't currently see all that well off to the left because the headlights aren't that wide. So that's what we were missing. And then we're going to turn to the right, a little bit better that way, but still not great. These headlights leave some to be desired. But aside from that, it's definitely not a deal breaker. The rest of the car is fantastic, very well done, great ambiance in here, and a nice luxury car. Be sure to check out the full review coming out after this. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.